Hi everybody. I'm sorry I'm a couple minutes late here. Okay. Uh, let's see. Wine art is getting really good. So patience is paying off because oh boy. Okay. So yesterday I talked about how they finally gave Claire chutzpah to tell Audra to tell Nate what's going on with Audra, right? And I kind of thought that I wasn't sure if they were going to make it so that Nate believes Audra or Claire. Now, Claire came in there and just told him the truth, but Audra tried to go in defense mode and damage control, which I talked about. And so today is the continuation of who does he believe? Nate. Who does Nate believe? Right? Okay, so to that end, he met with Devon and talked about everything. Talked about how the funeral was and talked about everything that happened and who he believes. And then he sounded conflicted because he said that he wants to believe Claire because she's got no bone in the fight, or some people might say no dog in the fight, meaning she has no reason to lie. Audra, however, has had a checkered past with other people, and even I'd say kind of a checkered past even with Nate, because he has caught her in a few lies before. Now, nothing as heavy as what she did this time, but nevertheless, she's lied before. So there's a history of it, right? Okay, so keep all that in mind. Then we have Claire, and Claire is telling her story to her mother, and Audra is telling her story to Sally, which I guess yeah, they are good friends now, because remember, they've been good friends for months now, maybe even a year. Okay, so they're both telling their side of the story, and Sally is saying, well, I don't mean to throw anything on to this, but you have lied before. And, you know, if you're trying to cover up and you want the problem to go away, I don't think lying is the best way to deal with it. I'm going, yeah, okay. So, but then Audra, okay, see, now I can frame what I mean with the whole Audra thing, because Audra plays dirty. The reason I say that is because Audra called Claire a witch. Only replace a letter and you get what she really called her. And that's uncalled for, because all Claire did was tell the truth. And Claire did it with the best of intentions, okay? She was trying to help Nate out because she saw Nate being taken advantage of. And so she didn't like it, so she did what she thought was right. She wasn't trying to get the upper hand on somebody, she wasn't trying to get anything. She was just trying to do the right thing. Okay. So, and then Victor comes in, and Victor says they have a scene with Melody Thomas Scott and Eric Brady, right? And you can tell that he hasn't slept all night or something. And so Nikki says, "Are you all right? Because you don't seem like yourself." And he's like, "I'm just come to a decision." And so I'm like, "Okay, what's the decision?" Then he says he wants to see Claire. So he goes to Victoria's house, and he tells her, she asked if he wants breakfast. he says he ate already. And then he says he wants to talk to Claire alone. Now, Claire's hesitant at first because she's kind of confident that he's going to say exactly the same thing he's been saying forever. That he doesn't like Kyle, she shouldn't be with Kyle. You know, the same thing. But he's like, no, hear me out. So he finally says, I give up. Like, I'm no longer going to interfere in your romantic life or whatever. And I'm like, what? I literally was, okay, I was literally across the room. I heard it because I had the volume up loud enough to hear, and I heard it and I was like, what? He said, what? I was like, oh my God. Okay, so remember this. And also, he told Kyle the same thing. Okay, so we have reached a point in the road. Now, mark this, remember it, because now, for sure, if the relationship between Claire and Kyle goes south, we know it's because of something one of them did. No more interference from somebody else. Okay, the reason I bring this up is because in one of the earlier scenes, Kyle had a scene with Michael Mueller, had a scene with Susan Walters and Peter Bergman at the same time, right? And it's breakfast, and he doesn't want any, and he's kind of distracted. You can tell he's distracted. So his mother asked him what's going on. So then he talks all about what happened and Nice a little more because they kind of knew what happened, but they didn't know everything. Okay. So they didn't know that Claire, Kyle, and Audra in a kiss of society, right? The kiss, she walked in on the kiss. Remember, I told you guys about that. Okay, they didn't know about that. They kind of knew about his plan for Nice and that he wanted to catch her, but he had to kind of put her in a position where it looked like whatever, or like she thought she won, but she didn't win, or whatever. But it was to catch her, right? Although I said I was not okay with the plan in the first place, right? Okay, but they didn't know that Kyle and Audra were in the same room, and they didn't know that. And they both said, "Do you really think that was wise?" Okay. Then after that, they said, "Well, I wouldn't hide that from Claire because if you hide it, it's gonna look like you did it on purpose, and Claire's gonna wonder about everything she's ever done with you and wonder about everything you've ever said." And I'm like, yes. And I'm like trying to tell him telepathically, through the TV, tell Claire the truth, everything. Tell her what happened in the cabin or whatever the hell, and tell her. That way she knows everything that happened and then she can make her own decision. If you hide it, even if it's a white lie, it's going to come back to bite you, which is what they said. Exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, oh no, this is going to go bad. This is going to go bad. And it looks like for the Audra and Nate thing, okay, Nate isn't going to believe Audra. So, like I said, it's going to be Splitsville for them. So, I believe the writers are setting up so Nate and Victoria get back together. That's what I think. As far as Claire and Kyle, I don't know, but I said this, and it's kind of funny because, like, I don't think. Okay, this is how my brain works. whenever I think about something, sometimes I don't think I'm so smart. And then it comes back around and I'm like, oh, maybe I know more than I thought I knew. Because I was like, I don't know, this is gonna come back to bite him. When he got like that close to her, I told you guys that. I feel vindicated. Okay, all right, bye guys.